the escape sequence where there is rain, and it looks like they're off.
And they're off, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle with no sword, so we know that Uncle is not going to provide a sword for our runners, but will provide a damage item of some sort.
What item are you thinking that the Uncle is going to give us today?
I'm feeling Kana Samaria. What about you?
I'm thinking 10 bombs, or whatever bomb capacity they have.
Yeah, that's my least favorite one. That one's always hard. We'll see what they get.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and it's the bow.
Okay, well, bow is a really nice seed that opens up at least Eastern to be completed or done.
It's always an interesting thing to start with, because Eastern kind of like a swing dungeon early on. A lot of people like to skip it early on so they don't have to double dip it. But when you have that bow, you know, you're more tempted to just hit it early. So it's like that's kind of see what we're gonna get here.
All right, as you're seeing now, we are in fact going through the escape. There's not that much divergence. It is pretty much to a script. They go down the basement, they pick up the princess, they come back up, they go through the escape. So just relax and get warm up for a really fun seed that's about to start.
Oh, blue mail right off the bat. So that's a nice thing to see, just make it a little bit easier going through all the early game stuff when you have very few hearts.
That blue mail definitely comes in handy when you're stuck in the beginning and having to do something like Mothula with 4 hearts and fighter's sword. Definitely is nice to have a blue tunic.
So bow also one of the easier items to traverse the escape with. Like I was saying earlier, bombs. There's really only a few enemies you have to take out with the items in escape. But when you have only bombs or Cane of Burna, it gets kind of tricky. But bow, you get your 30 arrows right away, and it's pretty straightforward. This guard only takes 4 arrows. Weighty Words opting to grab a pot to do 2 damage right off the bat.
I personally like the fire rod because it's like literally a one-shot kill for every enemy in the escape when you have it. So you're more likely to get a sub-6 escape with a weapon like that. But bow, yeah, definitely a better second option. All right, we see all of our runners taking Princess Zelda through the escape into the sanctuary.
I really like the sprite that Weighty Words is using. I've never seen that before. It's like a silver leg. I'm not sure what it's called.
Silver Surfer?
Maybe.
Fantastic Four Silver Surfer. We've got Fantastic. Is that Luigi?
Yep, Luigi on Fantala's screen there.
I wish these sprites had little extra powers, like really specific powers to their specific sprite. Like Luigi could jump or shoot a fireball.
I would certainly add a very interesting dynamic.
Okay, so we see everyone with at least 1 bomb, which is good for the back of the escape. They're going to need that bomb to access a part of the back of the dungeon that has 3 more chests and 3 very, potentially very important items.
Yep, big part of escape sequence in the standard mode is finding that bomb, and sometimes it can be really trolly, but looks like in this case everybody got it pretty swiftly, so that's a nice sign. Nobody can get significant advantage of any kind.
Well, we got to send our boy Fear Agent a little bit of mojo, as he has 0 bombs still.
Oh, you're right.
Hopefully he finds one in the monsters in the next 2 rooms. If he needs... Oh!
Green goo in a bottle there.
Yeah, that's
always nice to see the bottle right before you're going to go to Kakariko. You can redeem that right away for an item from the sick kid.
But why we don't give him the potion to make him feel better, we don't know. We just take his... We take his item.
Take his item, whatever it happens to be. Yeah, it looks like Fear Agent is going to just move on without their bomb. Once they find the glove, they'll be able to come back to that one location.
Or the worst case scenario is come back through the front. I have seen that happen before.
Yeah, and that's only it's only going to be necessary if the glove is in there. Even then, sometimes it's not because there's 2 gloves. But
All right, so we got Weighty Words actually going up towards the Lumberjack. I think he's going to make a Lumberjack check, whereas Fantalis is just going straight, I think, probably to the Lost Woods.
Oh, a nice tree pull from Weighty Words. They're getting 4 bombs right away, and if he sets this up correctly with his enemy kills, he can get another 4 from a tree just around the corner.
In the Lost Woods. All right, our Lumberjack item is... I didn't catch that, actually.
I think it was junk. I didn't catch exactly what it was either. It didn't look like anything important.
It looked like the bottom of an arrow upgrade, maybe silvers, but it was way too quick of a check.
And Fantalis also getting their bombs from the tree, so that's nice. You gotta having 3 bombs going into Kakariko is what you want. Because there's 3 locations behind bomb bull walls.
Absolutely, it is. It's always a nice feeling going in there with bombs. Otherwise, you'd have to, make enough money to buy bombs from the shop down there as a backup strat.
Right, and although all runners have 60 rupees approximately, you don't want to spend rupees just because you're trying to save as much for when you need them for things like Zoro.
And especially the bottle vendor, now that they're here. Oh, our first sword. But yeah, there's always been a case where the bottle vendor did have something really important, like a sword upgrade, a crucial one, in fact. And then you just passing by it and forgetting about that check. Simply because you didn't have enough money when going there the first time.
Yeah, and speaking of money, Fantalis, first of our runners to just get that 3 hundo right in the back of Blind's hut here. So, nice thing to see early on.
Yeah, it's something they don't have to worry about, at least for the rest of Kakariko. We do know that they are or will need 500 for that Zora check. Yeah, it's been quite the money seed so far.
Yeah, lots of big 20s. Another big 20, man. They just keep going. Oh, man, keep going. One more.
Just
Come on,
20s. Oh, and one more.
Oh, the triple red rupee. I don't think I've seen it.
Triple doubles. I love it. And bombs from the bottle vendor.
Yeah, kind of a ripoff. Kim bought 10 bombs for 50 rupees, but they got 3 for 100.
It's more of like 7-Eleven pricing for bombs instead of like the Walmart.
Yeah, better be some good bombs. That's all I'm saying. Oh, and a moon pearl.
Oh,
so
yes,
typically an item you see early.
The first of our trifecta of items that we need for the Dark World access.
Okay, well, our runners no longer have to worry about money, so that.
They have enough money.
300 in the tavern, so that's nice.
Yeah, they have enough money for Zora, Kiki, at pod and enough left over for some goos if they want.
Yeah, and it makes Zora really nice, and Zora kind of an out-of-the-way location. If you don't have the money, it can be kind of annoying to route it in, so all of our runners definitely happy to just see that.
So it appears that the sick kid did just give money away. It's unfortunate. We just stole his money. Poor kid.
5 rupees, all he had. Rough.
His lunch money, his medicine money.
So P-Train using an interesting strat we've seen a lot lately. He's bombing this wall here and just going straight into the race game without checking it first. And it's a nice strat because even though it most of the time doesn't have anything, even if it has something that's like moderately helpful, you've already gone through the race game and you can just grab it. Like this piece of heart. Just, you made it all the way anyway, so why not just grab it?
Well, we're at 10 minutes and he's making his first gamble at the race game. And he's going to grab it. Okay. Might as well, right?
That's what's nice about that little gamble there is like, even if it's blue mail or something, you might not want to just get it if you checked it beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
Some divergence here. Fentalis heading towards the Eastern Palace area. Oh, gets a flute. And then Weighty Words and Fear Agent heading towards the dam. The standard route.
Very nice flute find in the back of, you said, Sahasrara? Is that what you...
I believe it's Shakalaka, actually, is how it's really pronounced.
Oh, Boom Shakalaka, Sahasrara.
It looked like Ice Palace is going to be the green pendant. If you talk to Shakalaka there, he'll actually tell you exactly where the green pendant is.
Was it Ice Palace? I think
go to the Dark World.
Tracker has it marked as Desert Palace, but I could be wrong about that.
Maybe I misread it, but I'm pretty sure it was Ice Palace. Maybe another runner will check it soon.
Okay. All right, we got Fentalis, first one to head into Eastern Palace. He can complete it without the lamp. We'll be out of sequence. But not having the lamp is not very crucial to these runners. These runners are of high caliber and probably can manage this game without the lamp.
Yep. A whole bunch of nothing in the mini Moldorm came. Fear Agent dropping a bomb at the bully because he's unhappy with what he provided for him. Oh, and a hook shot in Eastern Palace. What a find.
Yeah, especially early on with no boots. That's an item that does help you move in the game a little bit faster, and it kills certain enemies a lot quicker as well. I'd have to say that the hookshot is probably my favorite item in the entire game.
Oh yeah, me too. No doubt.
It's just so useful. Yeah. Stun, kill, grapple.
Yeah, movement.
Mm-hmm. All right, we see Fentalis going through that Stalfos room using the quick strat. If you spawn the Stalfos in the middle top room of the room, there's actually 4 Stalfos that are supposed to spawn there, but the top one can't spawn above the door, and the bottom one can't spawn on the pot. So only 2 show up, and he gets the quick kill.
Yeah, Fentalis, no lamp, and so they don't have to traverse these dark rooms in the dark. But having the sword, you can charge it up, and it gives you a little glow. But if you know the pattern or the layout of the room, you can make your way through and do what you need to do. Eastern Palace has a notorious dark room, not this one. This one's pretty easy, but I imagine Fentalis will also go for the tougher one just so they can finish out the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the one with the monsters that you do have to kill in the dark. It's definitely the more tough one. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go for it.
Okay, so we're seeing 3 of our runners actually utilizing the fake flipper trick. The randomizer was actually based off of the Japanese 1.0 version of the game, and there are certain glitches minor glitches that they will be utilizing in the game. The first trick you're seeing right now is the fake flippers. And it's actually when you fall into the water, pixel away from a screen transition, and then proceed to the screen transition, the game thinks that you have the flippers.
Yep, so they're all going out of logic. They're going to be breaking sequence to get these items, so they have to just keep that in the back of their head. And wow, it looks like an ice rod out of sequence.
Ooh. We don't know whether or not that ice rod is needed yet, but that is usually a trolley item when Total Rock is in play.
Yeah, I hate the ice rod.
It's usually left side pendant swamp, you know, like... Okay. And our Zor Ledge is just a 5 arrow upgrade. I don't imagine they would come back to get that unless they're so compelled to increase their arrow capacity.
And Fantalis making his way through that tough dark room. Some good stuff to Fantalis. Going to be able to finish this dungeon out. And it being a crystal dungeon, it's a nice thing, especially with all the items that they got there. They have access to Death Mountain now with the flute and the hookshot.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Zora is the big scam artist. Gave us a big 20 for 500.
Yeah, so nothing at all on the South Shore really wasn't the play on this seed, and that's usually the standard route, is to go that way, so that's why 3 of our Forerunners did it. But really got nothing out of it, except that ice rod, which is out of sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's usually the standard play, because there is a plethora of free chests there that statistically should have some pretty big items, but unfortunately... just that ice rod for now, which is not that useful in this part of the game. So it's... Where's Fantalis going to head now? It looks like the other 3 runners are going to head off to the Eastern Palace play. And let's see. Fantalis is saving quitting probably to the Sanctuary.
Imagine Fantalis will probably go activate that flute.
Yes.
And then make their way up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, so Fantalis is on his way to Kakariko, and actually, he is going to activate the flute, and so obviously we have to all rise and remove our hats for the playing of the Hyrulean National Anthem. I'm not sure that we have his game audio, though, so we won't be able to hear it, so unfortunately, it's going to have to be, I think, weighty words whenever he gets there.
You all know how it goes. Put your salutes in chat.
Mm-hmm. We might do this again once Weighty Words activates that flute.
So yeah, Death Mountain looking like the place to go. Fantalis going through this dark room here. Another sequence break. Gonna pick up the old man, set up that checkpoint. Nice thing to have, and it really isn't too tough of a dark room.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you know it. There is a pit, so you can fall down, but these runners know exactly where it is, and we'll be picking up our old man soon.
Nice big chunk of love from the old man for saving him from the cave.
Mm-hmm. The old man giving us his heart and his mind and his body. Yeah, but Fantalis actually getting deadrocked there, so smart move to go back into the cave and back out to remove that deadrock from blocking your access to the rest of this mountain.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to get deadrocked, where you can just do the quick entrance-exit.
Mm-hmm. I'd say that's probably one of the trollier enemies in the game is that deadrock. You can't kill them when they're in the statue state. You can powder them, though. And looks like Fantalis is heading off to the right side. He does have the hookshot. There is 8 items on the right side of Death Mountain. Hopefully that gives us other items of the Dark World access trifecta.
Yeah, I imagine it will. Only other item left that we haven't seen is Agnes Cave, which is kind of an annoying spot. So statistically, we are going to see something here. But Randomizer does not always follow statistics.
It's usually Agana with that trolley item, and it's so far away. Ooh, and red mail. In that first chest there in Paradox Cave. And they said red mail is for cowards. I say it's for fashion-forward thinkers. All right. But red mail is really nice to have this early on. We're gonna see. Ooh, there's some gloves and a fire rod. Yeah. Oh my goodness!
And there are some items.
Okay.
There be items. A glove and a fire rod. So yeah, that opens it up quite a bit. Well, actually, I'm gonna think about it. What does that do?
Well, nothing currently that they need. It's interesting because there's not that many items left. We're probably going to see a hammer pretty soon here,
yeah.
or a lamp or a master sword combination.
The only thing that opens up in sequence is Zora, and we know Zora is junk. So I'm thinking Spiral Cave here's probably got something, but otherwise we're heading to Agnes Cave.
Yeah, it's got to be if it's Aga. If they have to do Aga, it has to be two items. It has to be Master Sword Lamp or Cape and Lamp. So we'll see what we get here.
Oh, there we go.
Titan's Mitts. There you go. So
now we're talking.
That gives us the left side of Dark World.
And also opens up the right side of Death Mountain right here.
Oh, perfect.
In the Dark World.
Perfect timing for him.
That's a pretty convenient place to find it.
And combined with the hookshot, he can check that hookshot cave as well. Oh, and we got our first map check. And it was Green Pendant Ice Palace. And
Turtle Rock Pendant. My favorite.
It's highly unfortunate when you get both rods and then Turtle Rock is just not even in, not even required. Maybe. We'll see.
They'll be going there. I can assure you they will be going to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be one medallion that's required for Misery Mire.
All right, here's our real salute. So if you haven't heard the song, I don't know why you wouldn't have, but here it is, the Hyrulean national anthem.
What a beautiful melody, played by our very own Weighty Words Link Sprite. All right, our Super Bunny check cave. Oh boy. Zero out of 10.
The mediocre bunny cave. Ooh, Master Sword.
Okay. Interesting.
$1. A shovel. And a lantern. Wow, pretty stacked. Mockshot cave there.
Now, at this point, I think Aga is actually still on the table for these runners. Until we find a hammer or flippers, that right side is locked.
It's not off the table. That is required, for sure. Fantalis, interestingly enough, not checking the Turtle Rock medallion requirement. Turtle Rock maybe not required because it is pendant. And I think if you're already there, it is prudent to just kind of give it a look just to know what you need to get in. So interesting choice by Fantalis, really just thinking that he's not going to Turtle Rock at all.
It may come it may cost him though. I mean, at some point, if he does have to search for items, and he may search those other locations first before Turtle Rock, seeing that he has no interest in it, and it may be the right choice actually. So.
Yeah, Fantalis doing the South Shore check that they didn't do while other runners kind of doing the things that Fantalis did that they never got to. So kind of go in each other's footsteps for a little bit here.
This should bring everyone back into, I guess, sync a little bit. And we'll see if Fantalis decides to fake Flipper as well to get those items. I don't see why not. He does have the money for Zora, so it could be a check he wants to make right now.
Yeah, and he knows it's in sequence because he's got that glove, so probably worth a check. But, you know, it does take some time, maybe thinking do it later, who knows. And yeah, it looks like Fantalis actually is just going to leave after, oh no, just go into Ice Rock Cave.
That flute makes that Ice Rod Cave a lot quicker. It beats having to walk all the way that miracle mile there.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty close time-wise on that one, but I'm not actually sure. I've never tested it. I think it might be a little bit faster to flute.
And Fear Agent now trekking the spiral cave. As you can see, is a long spiral. And it is very slow without the boots.
Yeah, Fantalis opting not to check the flipper chests. I'm going to go straight to Village of Outcasts area here. See, they might want to just go straight through Skull Woods here. I mean, you've got all the items. I don't see why not.
And with that red mail, it's definitely going to help him out on the boss, but he may not even need it. It looks like he's going straight to the back, which you can do. You only need a key, or just a key to get through the first door, and then there's an option for the key to get through the second door in the back of Skull Woods.
Yeah, if you have the option, this is almost always just the better thing, because especially if you're going to make the play just to come back anyway, which Fantalis definitely is, to go towards Village of Outcasts next.
And yeah, sometimes I like to check the chest, like at least one of the chests in the front, just to see if I get an item, and if I get the second item on the boss, then I don't have to check anything else. So there's a lot of strats for Skull Woods.
Yeah. And I personally like to check that middle chest with the where the Gibdos are, just because I don't like how they spawn when I'm coming from the left side as opposed to the bottom. So, you know, there's all these little nuances to it.
And we are getting that Turtle Rock check. I actually missed it, so I don't really know what it was. But Fear did check the Turtle Rock medallion.
I missed it as well, but hopefully one of our other runners will check it as well. It looks like Weighty Word's heading that direction right now. And it is Bombos.
Okay, interesting. Alright, Fantalis onto his Mothula fight with the Master Sword and Fire Rod strats. And it is 8 hits with the Master Sword or the Fire Rod. Or 8 slashes. I think it's 4 spins.
4 spin slashes with the Master Sword.
Master Sword.
Those are pretty tough to set up.
But it is a little weird. I do actually find it easier to move on the treadmill with my sword poked out for some reason.
Yeah, it actually adds a little bit of lag. So, although lag is usually a bad thing for speedrunners, when it comes to the Mothula fight, so many things are flying around. Having that little bit of lag can actually just make it a little bit easier.
And Fantalis making just easy work of Mothula there. Very tough fight with the spikes just coming at you. The treadmill is just moving in different directions, 100 miles an hour. You're just Trying to kill a butterfly.
Yep. Looks like Weighty Words is gonna go to immediate shovel check.
Ooh.
Haven't seen this location yet. Just more rupees we do not need.
More rupees, and he is going to take them.
Somebody buried all their money just beneath the ground. Oh wow, a mirror.
The mirror.
That's really convenient just for that chest in particular.
It is, yeah. It's like just to have to walk all the way back around does take a little bit of time. So getting that mirror that's probably like one of the best locations to find mirror.
Yeah, it's very like just nice.
It's like either that or like right side pod or the back of pod. Really nice locations for the mirror.
Weighty Words checking the mire area. This has been open for a while now since we found those myths. So not a bad check, really quick. Ugh, just missed what was on the.
It looked like bombos.
The medallion. Bombos again, huh? Wow.
Looks like our first shield in the mire shed, and another bottle.
Yeah, Weighty Words just opting to just leave. Well, actually, that's all they could do. Never mind. I'm getting mixed up. Thought they had the mirror already. Well, Fantalis going for the vanilla strat on getting this big key chest. When you're coming on the way back, it's not too much slower than doing the bomb jump. And if you're not comfortable with the bomb jump, you know, it really isn't too bad to just do it this way.
The vanilla way. Ain't nothing.
With the mirror, you can just mirror back to the spot too. Or with the hook shot, you can go right across too.
Yes,
Fantalis more forward-thinking than I am here.
Yeah, I would say probably the hook shot. I think if you mirror, you do go back to the spot you fell. Is that
correct? Yeah, and which is still saves time if that's your only way back. But with the hook shot, yeah, way better to just hit that statue there.
It looks like we got Weighty Words and Fear Agent following suit into the Skull Woods.
And P-Train opting to go just straight to the South Dark World area. Gonna do the digging game.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes this route all the way down towards the Hype Cave, he may very well get something like the hammer or a better sword, something that might make the boss fights easier coming up.
And it looks like Bombos was just in Skull Woods, so our one medallion has been found already. That's pretty easy.
Yes, that's something nice to have early, and to have the early knowledge of the Bombos medallion is good too. You don't have to worry about having to find that item to get into any of those dungeons when they come.
Nice job from Weighty Words getting that statue on that chest before the hand falls. Takes a fair amount of execution to pull that off, so good stuff.
And especially dodging the Gibdos. They can be really trolly in that room, especially. And also, especially trying to kill the Gibdos with the Master Sword is quite trolly as well. Right, we got Fear Agent into the Mothula fight, fighting the butterfly that shoots lasers, the robot butterfly.
P-Train making the play of grabbing Jeremiah the Frog there. Gonna bring him back to his brother in the light world. Kind of a nice routing idea because they haven't done a lot of that area in the dark worlds. So they'll be able to just kind of couple that all together.
And he gets... Oh no. Unfortunately, Fear falling slain to the butterfly, but he's gonna go back in and give it another whirl.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. It's loaded with RNG, and can really catch you off guard. Even the best runners have fallen to Mothula.
Absolutely. Oh, and that Hype Cave, I don't think gave us anything good. So I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a negative pi. Oh, it gave Cape in half magic. Okay. Okay. Let's reevaluate here.
I think it's that puts it right at pi.
Yeah, that's like a
pi out of 10.
A positive 10. Yeah, a positive pi out of 10. There you go. All right, and Fantalis, the first of our runners to dip into Thieves Town.
Very minor risk with Thieves Town is not having that hammer, because there is one chest where you need the hammer. But there's also a pretty good chance that that chest either has nothing at all or has
the key.
A dungeon item, yeah, that is, useless as far as the rest of the seed goes.
But we'll see if this gamble was worth it. And actually, Fantalis just went through probably one of the hardest rooms in the game. It's the Hellway. Ooh,
wow.
That's
a really... Samaria at the breadsmiths.
I had to pause my commentary on the Hellway for that awesome find.
And flippers in Thieves Town. All right, we're starting to see some items here.
I think we got Meyer open to us now completely at this point. I think P-Chain does not have the Bombos yet, so...
Man. So yeah, that puts not only Meyer in, but also puts all of Turtle Rock in sequence already.
Oh, wow.
And then with those flippers, we have, parts of both Ice and Swamp. So quite a bit of options have opened up. And then, with Bow, we can get into most of Pod now with those flippers as well.
Now, but I'm trying to think what might be in Turtle Rock that we need. I don't think it can have anything that they might need, because the hammer can't be in there.
And we still need the hammer to actually get in. I forgot about that.
I think we're pretty close to having all the items we need to complete the game. I'm thinking.
Yeah, actually, we're
just hammer.
We're just at hammer to go mode. Wow, that's like it's kind of surreal.
I know. It's always nice having Turtle Rock as a pendant dungeon. Or like I think the god seed is when Turtle Rock and Mire and Swamp are pendants, because you don't need like 10 items are not required for that type of seed, but always nice when Turtle Rock is not.
Yeah, so no Turtle Rock, I misspoke there, but definitely still lots of options. So we're probably going to see some divergence once everybody kind of gets on the same page here with what items they've got.
All right, Fantalis making a quick work of our favorite blind boss named Blind. It is a scripted fight if you can set up each cycle and get the proper hits in the proper places. And it looks like he got the cycle for the most part.
Yeah, Fantalis is going to be able to route in this the breadsmiths here really cleanly, having the mirror already. And then probably going to get the purple chest as well.
Yes, having mirror here is definitely the play. You can check pretty much all of the south side here, the southern check. There's K45, that's there. He also has the shovel that he hasn't checked, so this is extremely efficient routing from Fantalis. And Chad is saying that we got a mushroom on Bumper Ledge. That could be something.
Very well could be. Cape in sequence, so that puts the witch in sequence as well.
Looks like Fantalis didn't get the purple chest. I'm not sure if he didn't. Did he do the digging game? guess
Yeah,
not.
it
He
doesn't look
hasn't.
like it.
Mhm.
Kind of a weird thing is with the digging game is if you have anything coming behind you, like either Jeremiah or the purple chest, you actually can't do the digging game at all. So it's kind of a weird thing to route in sometimes. So we'll see if Fantalis decides to go back, or if they're just going to say, forget the purple chest for now.
Mm-hmm. And I guess this way he could maybe, if he does the entire southern check and he does come back to Kakariko for any reason, he could pick up that purple chest and just flute on over to the spot where he has to turn it in to Mr. Oldman. Oh, it looks like he is going back up there to get it, and might as well. It's a smart play.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to route in otherwise, and so it's something that will hang over your head. So even sometimes that peace of mind can just help your mentality of going through the seed.
For sure. And we're about to get that lunchbox check from Weighty Words. As he...
Oh, and it's the magic powder.
Ooh, more fetches. More fetches.
Yeah, and although we do not have the hammer, the magic bat is in sequence if you mirror, and that is just about the most awkward location that I imagine our runners will put off until they have to.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose it could have the hammer.
Yeah, I've seen that before. it's pretty nutty.
I've never actually seen it, but it seems like
super unlikely.
Seems like the most trolly place for the hammer to be.
Oh, it just about.
Yeah, so quite an amount of fetches available to us now that he has that the cape is available, and now we've got the mushroom available and powder available. So we've got the entire package deal there available to us as far as fetches.
P-Train is actually going to get that mushroom. And with the flute, that's a pretty easy redeem, and so might just check that right away.
Yeah, definitely. It could be something big, and if you spend the time and do it and take the gamble, it could further you ahead of the other runners, for sure.
Yeah, looks like P-Train still got a little bit more. Well, actually, looks like they're heading east here, so might be heading towards the east side of Dark World. Couple items on the way. Can check the graveyard ledge here, and then catfish if they desire, and then make their way all the way down to Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. P-Train. Okay. I'm interested to see what Fantalis does after this. Whether or not he decides to keep going and go towards the pod area, check Pyramid, and catfish himself. Seeing that he hasn't checked Zora or the waterfall as well, he could route that in. So I'm interested to see what he does here. But Weighty Words, having all the knowledge and all the items to get into Misery Mire is here right now.
Yep, just kind of another option here. Misery Mire is a crystal dungeon, so you're gonna have to do it at some point. So why not now? It says Weighty Words.
And we did see him grab some potions beforehand, just to get ready for a Master Sword Vitreous fight. Is not the most fun fight.
Yeah, Vitreous, a trivial fight if you have silver arrows, but if you don't, it becomes pretty tricky. So it's nice to have those safeties. Looks like Fantalis is probably heading to Misery Mire as well. Could also dip into Desert, maybe. It is a pendant, but could have some items.
And he can also do Checkerboard Cave. I think he may be the first one with the mirror in this location that can do it. I think Weighty Words has the mirror too, but I don't think he checked it.
Yeah, probably gonna check it right after Misery Mire. Mire kind of an interesting dungeon in that you can route it in several ways, and depending on where the items fall, basically there's a number of routes that could end up being optimal, and so you kind of just have to do what you feel on it, honestly, and just hope it works out for you.
Absolutely, there could be something really important in the big key, the vanilla big key location, which is kind of out of the way, and it looks like Weighty Words is going to check that
Weighty
out.
Words thinking something's there, and this location just notorious for how long it takes.
All right, Weighty Words utilizing a glitch where you can shoot the fire rods through a block that's being pushed. It saves a lot of time. You don't have to open the way for all those, for you to get through, push all those blocks to light the torches. It makes it easier, a lot faster to execute that room.
Oh, a big key there at that slow chest, so paid off for Weighty Words.
Vanilla.
Everybody's gonna have to do that at some point.
And it may take other runners a little bit slower time if they don't check that first and do that last. And it looks like actually we're getting some divergence here. Fear is actually heading into Tower of Hera, which is a good check. It's completable, and
yeah, I totally forgot about Tower of Hera. That's definitely a great place to be heading right now. And for those questioning in chat, yeah, we are a hammer away from faux go mode.
yes,
Where there's always, if you do not have boosts, there's always that 1 in 22 chance that the torch in Ganon's tower has the big key, which is necessary to progress to Ganon. So if they find the hammer, they're probably heading towards Ganon's tower, but there is that chance that they might not be in go mode even then.
I also like to call that slow mode. Oh, and I think we just got a book in the chest here. Weighty Words just picked up the book here in Myers, so interesting. That opens up the tablets, and we can check the pedestal to see if that could have something. But I think at this point, can't be the item that we need.
Yeah, book kind of an annoying, like, triple fetch quest. Like it opens up like 2 or 3 or 2 locations that are just so far away, and sometimes it opens up desert. So it's kind of an annoying item when you're just looking for one item, like the runners are.
Especially when they don't have hammer, they have to use the portal in Kakariko to get all the way to the ether or the Bombos tablet.
Yeah. That's an awful thought, huh? Yeah, hammer really opens up a lot of maneuverability, especially in the Dark World, and without it, there's some trolley locations, like even Swamp Palace. There's one item available there right now, but it's just such a pain to go there.
And it's like, it is usually rare to find the hammer as your go mode or potential go mode item. You kind of take it for granted because you usually get it so early, and so there are certain things you'll end up at Ice Palace and be like, oh wait, I can't complete the boss because I don't have the hammer. You just don't realize you don't have it. So
don't know what you got till it's gone with that hammer.
All right, so I'm interested to see what. All right, Weighty Words. Ooh,
just pounding away.
That's actually a really interesting strat that I might use for myself. It looks like his magic meter is going down very slowly. I'm not sure if that's because of the lag he's creating with that. It certainly seems so, but that was a very nice strat from him. Because having to kill those eyeballs with the Master Sword is actually quite difficult.
Well, that's about as safe as you can be. You cannot take damage while you're caped, so it's just, it works. It's just...
That was a fantastic strat. Yeah, wow. I may have to steal that one for sure.
Nothing in Agnes Cave. I think that's our first check of that. The last of our Sphere Zero chests.
And here we were thinking that was the hammer the whole time. No.
Yeah, that happens so often. It's unbelievable.
Where like an item was so free the entire time, like a sword or something.
It was always there, and you checked like a million locations first.
All right, weighty words. Yeah. And fear. Both heading into Desert Palace. It's not Boots Lock, so could be something. Could be something on Landmo. It looks like just getting the key there and in the middle north room, and just opting to go to the right side to pick up the 2 chests. One of which we know is the big key. That one.
Yeah, desert, when it's pendant like this, it's kind of a strange location in that sometimes it's so quick to just get those 2 items right out of the way, and then you're just like, all right, that was a super quick check. And then sometimes it's like this, where you have to go through the whole darn thing to see what's even in it. And so it's a strange location when it's pendant like this.
And weighty words, thinking about skipping the big chest, but considering he only has 1 item for go mode or foe mode, he decides to go back in and check that big chest because it does have to be an item, and the other item being at Land Mola.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to skip a chest in this case, you probably want to just skip the land mode chest because it takes so much longer. But, you know, you might just decide to do that too. We'll see. No, it looks like that is what Weighty Words decided to do. Just skip the land mode chest.
Oh, it looks like we're getting... Where's Fantalis headed? Is he headed to Agana or I guess checkerboard? Okay, checkerboard. So we're getting we're getting a little sync here between Weighty Words and Fantalis, both checking and Fear Agent.
3-way high 5.
That's fantastic.
Don't see that often.
It is a spectacle to see when you get 2 runners they don't know, or even 2 or more runners just. They have no idea where their opponents are at, and then they're at the same exact place, same exact time. It is a trip. Unfortunately, it was just a piece of heart, and we knew that already. So, interesting now to see what the play is for both of these runners, having done Misery Mire.
Yeah, I'm ready for a pod play. Who's going to pod first? That's what I want to see.
It would appear that our Fantalis and Weighty Words are headed off to the Hera area.
Yeah, that's the logical place to go at this point.
It is open, and then there's also the Bombos tablet that's open. So 3 items available. True.
One thing kind of cool about Tower of Hera is it is the mirror image place of Ganon's tower. So like, if you decide to put off your Tower of Hera crystal last, it's actually extremely efficient when you're heading up to Ganon's tower, because you can just mirror right there, do Tower of Hera, and then immediately enter Ganon's tower. So it's always something to think about. But it does make a lot of sense to just do it, because if it has hammer, then you're in go mode, right?
But you're absolutely right. It is fun to save last, and in this case, it actually would have worked out because we do know what was in Tower of Hera, and it wasn't anything. It was a bunch of junk. So, yeah, I think I think you're absolutely right. Doing the pod play first maybe could have been something, although we don't have the hammer to complete it. But there is 5 items in there, and there's also the pyramid. So it is smart. But yeah, but I can see where these guys are thinking, okay, fully completable dungeon versus something that's not completable. You know, let's do the completable one first before we start switching.
That's how most sane runners play.
Yeah, but you know, it's all about the gambles, and some people would gamble pod or Ice Palace and end up being paying off for them in a big way.
All right, here we go. Fury Agent heading to the East Dark World. Looking like they're going to be heading to pod pretty soon here. Probably going to check the catfish and maybe... Well, they don't have the mushroom yet, so they probably won't be able to... So they're not going to be able to check the witch.
Oh, I see. He does not. He did not pick up his cape mushroom combination yet.
Yeah, that means Fear Agent hasn't even gone to Hype Cave yet. It's interesting.
Have we had a catfish check yet?
Oh no, this is the first time.
All right, so this is exciting. This could be it for us. And then just a piece of heart. The catfish giving us his heart.
Catfish, probably the most notorious location in all of Randomizer, just because it's so out of the way, and when it has something, it just splits the race right in half, because there's the people who went to Catfish and the people who didn't.
And I think particularly this is actually this is a pretty good play from Fear Agent, because it is a long trek from Kakariko to get all the way over here to the right side of Dark World. So yeah, he'll be the first of the runners to kind of gamble the right side here.
Yeah, and as much as a gamble as it seems, it is 8 items on this side, so there's a good percentage chance that your hammer is here. Although Fear Agent doesn't have some of the other items like the Cane of Samaria, so they're actually kind of making a gamble in their mind.
Yeah, although if he does find the hammer here, he could just technically go mode the rest of the dungeons. Let's see here. Looks like Weighty Words is going to do his Thieves Town check. Finally getting that one out of the way. And it actually could have been, maybe he was putting it off for the very rare occasion when you get to go mode Thieves Town.
Yeah, or may have just put it off because they didn't have the hammer and was worried that they would strand an item.
All right, we got Fear Agent, the first of our runners to do the In My Feelings challenge. Kiki, can you get me to Dark Palace for 110 rupees? I had to do it. I mean, the song's been out for a couple months now, and this tournament's been going on, and I'm surprised no one has actually made that reference.
Yeah, man, you putting it out there, let it rip.
For y'all that don't know, that the monkey's name is formerly known as Kiki, and you have to pay him 110 rupees in order for him to open up the pod palace, Palace of Darkness.
Looks like Fear Agent going back into Eastern. Fear Agent has been into Eastern already, but was not confident in their dark rooms. You know, that really tough one in the back especially is rough. So now that they have the mirror, I mean not the mirror, the lantern, it'll be so much easier. So, and it worked out pretty efficiently for them. So not a bad double dip at all.
And if this is his first time is it his first time in Eastern Palace, or is it?
No, it can't be. He's got the hook shot, so he's just.
I see.
He just put off the dark rooms.
Yeah, it's especially efficient when you can route in Eastern Palace with pod, with the mirror, just as efficient as you doing Misery Mire and Desert Palace as well. Saves a lot of time in the trek to get there. All right, Fantalis, looking like he's finally going to make the trek all the way to the right side of Dark World. Looks like he's taking the portal here, and I think that's all he has left to do right now, as he's checked everything else.
Well, there are a couple things left. Like I said, there is that one chest in the swamp, which is ridiculous, and you don't want to go there at all. We do have, we also have the magic bat, which is also ridiculous, and you don't want to do that at all. And then we also have access to most of Ice Palace, so like probably about half of Ice Palace, which is also kind of awful, and you probably don't want to do that at all. So it makes sense to go to Pod, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that reminds me, we do have crystals 5 and 6, but they can't get there logically with the big bomb yet.
Ooh, now they actually can, believe it or not. The only way they can is if they complete Aghanim.
Oh, that's right.
It is
that's
in
right.
logic if they complete Aghanim.
So yeah, it could be the very rare case that the hammer is in the Pyramid Fairy. And
that is the most trolly location for the hammer. I forgot about that one.
I have seen it in a seed before.
Oh yeah, I've had it a couple times actually.
Oh, a couple times. Wow, that's very rare. Those are the types of situations where you should probably go buy a lottery ticket.
Or avoid them at all costs. I'm not really sure.
Very nice spin strats from P-Train on Vitreous here. That's definitely one way to kill Vitreous as well.
Yeah, spin slashes. Kill those eyeballs pretty quick. 3 slashes. There's 3 spins for each of the eyeballs. So if you set it up right, you can do it pretty efficiently that way.
Oh, so it is 3 with the Master Sword.
Correct.
Oh, it looks like Weighty Words is going to check the Magic Bat.
All right.
This might be our first check. I don't think we've seen this one before. All right. Magic Bat Hammer.
Just a B-Torp.
Big troll. All right. Apparently, the front side of Pod was it bow locked? I did miss the first part of it when Fear was in there. He is on the right side now. All right, but excitedly, we got Fear Agent in the right side of Pod, where there are 2 chests, most likely keys. If it was... Oh my god!
And there's our hammer in Pod.
Wow.
So unfortunately for Fear Agent, they do not know that is Go mode, or it's not Go mode for them, just because they haven't found that KMSMRA yet. So probably going to clear this dungeon.
This is what you would call the no mode for us at 1 hour and 3 minutes. But I'm thinking that Fantalis is gonna head down there after Catfish, and he will soon be in his Go mode.
Yeah, barring a horrible death or something, Fantalis will definitely be the first to enter Go mode. But Weighty Word's heading in the correct direction.
I imagine that he picks up that mushroom and does this entire northern into Catfish check, and then down into Pod. Oh, but yeah, that's right. Fantalis has not checked the Zora area yet, so he's going to do that. Interesting.
Yeah, that's true. It'll take a little bit of time to do that. Give Weighty Word some time to catch up.
It will be interesting to see what he does after that, because you usually get to Zora and save and quit simply because it's too far of a walk to go back. But I imagine that he will opt to come back since the portal is right here.
Yeah, kind of a weird situation where I think walking back is the best decision. It almost never is, but in this specific case, it is.
And this actually gives a little bit of time for Weighty Words to catch up here, because it seems like they're pretty close, seeing that Fantalis has to do the Zora check, and Weighty Words has done his Zora check. So we might see some sync here pretty soon. A pretty close race between Weighty and Fantalis. And Fantalis getting his scam on, or getting scammed by the Zora, losing 480 rupees, and walking back to his portal. And just a piece of heart in the big chest in Pod, and your agent is then heading on to the boss, the Helmasaur King. He's the king of all helmeted turtles?
I guess he's a turtle. He's a soar.
Yeah, that's a question I always ask myself. What is a Helmasaur King? What is Helmasaur? First off, a helmeted turtle?
I feel like a shell is pretty essential for a turtle, so I think he's not a turtle.
Okay, so maybe he's like a large rat, maybe with a mask. Rat-like creature. Yeah, anyone in chat anyone wants to guess what a Helmasaur King is? Get your best guesses in chat.
And we will never confirm it.
Mm-hmm. All right, now this is close. We got Weighty just like a few screens behind Fantalis, but they're doing the same stuff, and they're probably both going to find that hammer right as the other one finds the hammer, and it's going to be interesting going up to Ganon's Tower after this, or after they do Swamp.
Yeah, this is great. It's going to be a tight race between Fantalis and Weighty Words.
Mm-hmm.
Might see some lead changes back and forth based on execution and routing, especially in Ganon's Tower.
Mm-hmm. And it also will be interesting to see if they opt to pick up any chests in the Swamp Palace, the ones that are free, and along the way.
Yeah,
just for
Ice Palace as well.
Mm-hmm. Boots or silvers. But I'm thinking if they get that hammer, I'm thinking they're not going to bother with the Ice Palace, the pendant Ice Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I believe it's like less than 3% chance that you're not in go mode once you find that hammer, so it's the odds are in your favor, but I've said that several times and then been
and then it's happened.
Fortunate enough to see that big key sitting on that darn torch.
And it's like, what do you do at that point? It's like, do you check the rest of Ganon's Tower? Probably the smart choice. Or leave and bank that some of the other locations that you haven't checked have those boots. But they could be anywhere at that point, and it's not a good feeling.
Weighty Words unfortunately have to spending extra 10 rupees because took damage while having Kiki. Kiki, an extortionist, but also a huge chicken. As soon as he sees any danger, he runs right back into his safe space. So.
Yeah, well, seeing as
he then extorts you for more money.
Yeah, he's he doesn't work for free. That's what he says, and he made a whopping 120 rupees there, and perhaps I should sing the song again. Replace it with 120 rupees. Okay. All right, Fantalis on the right side of Pod, and we know what's coming, and we'll see what he decides to do after this, whether or not he just decides to find that big key and nope out the rest of the dungeon, or not nope out of it, but just like nope to the beginning and complete the boss at that point.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Pod wasn't bow locked. And so Fantalis is just kind of making a kind of an unconventional route here, just going straight to the right side. And it's going to pay off real big time here with that with the hammer being there.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. At 109, 15 seconds, Fantalis has hit the slow mode, like they call it. But he can now complete all the dungeons required for Ganon's Tower, and pending the torch, we could be in a full go mode. A GG, a Ganon go mode.
And Tao's seeing that big key, but deciding to keep going. Interesting. Oh, no,
yeah.
kind of, yeah. I think Tao just made the realization that, wait, I can finish the dungeon now.
Mm-hmm. All right, and about 40 seconds later, we've got Weighty Words hitting his go mode. Ooh, and Fear, actually, I think he's heading to Swamp Palace. I'm thinking... Does Fear need anything else? Are we missing something here?
Fear can get in here. It's kind of an unfortunate check because, Fear is looking for that King of Samaria at this point, and it's just not here.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Fear is concerned, it could be here. In fact, it has a very good chance of being here as far as he's, what he knows about this seed. It's not a bad play at all, just kind of not going to work out.
Yeah, it is many a time that Samaria is in this dungeon. I have seen it on the big chest where the big key was on either left side or on the boss, so it can be trolly for sure. It's just unfortunate that he's probably going to have to check all those locations.
Remind me where the King of Samaria was. I can't remember.
King of Samaria was on the Smith.
Oh, right. That's... Okay, so that's a tough spot for Fear Agent.
And it is a pretty open location. He was in Kakariko, but I think he decided to head up towards the north side, and I'm not even sure that he did his southern Kakariko, or just southern Dark World check. All right, and 17 hammer hits to open up the mask, and I think a 4 or 8 Master Sword.
Yeah, I believe it's 8.
It's 8 regular slashes, 4 spins. Sword spins. Oh, Weighty Words not. Yeah.
Trying to set up the ham. You can actually hammer hit that final phase of Helmasaur, but it's really tight window, and so it's easy to miss.
And the strat there is to hold the sword out and try to, as a buffer between you and the pearl on his head, and get that small hammer hit in, and just 4 of those to take care of Helmasaur King. And yeah, Helmasaur King giving up the goods, the little $5. Here's $5 for playing, and thank you very much.
So Fantal's heading straight to Swamp Palace. Let's see, maybe Weighty Words will decide to do Ice first. Oh no, Ice is the pendant. Just kidding.
Yeah.
They're both going to be heading to Swamp Palace here.
Yeah, this Swamp Palace will be our last crystal, so... And it's going to be a quick one. So... Pretty soon here, they'll be off to Ganon's Tower. Pretty fast seed.
Yeah, indeed.
It's always super nice when the Turtle Rock check is just not required at all.
Yeah, it's...
Ooh. It's actually interesting here. I think Fear Agent found the boots in Swamp Palace.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting whether or not these other runners like Fantalis and Weighty check those items to then get those boots.
Right, and that's a check that's so fast. It's pretty much worth it if you're looking for anything at all. But I have seen runners who just are thinking, you know what? Like, I'm just trying to go mode right now, and they just go right past it. So we'll see. Hopefully, Weighty Words and Fidels will think to pick that up, because that's a huge thing. It could be the difference between go or no mode.
Potentially. Like, that could be, big for Fear. I mean, it's looking right now that he still has one more item left to go. I think P-Train is probably on his way to get the hammer too and hit his go mode. But it could be, in fact, the case where that big key is on Torch, and now Fear Agent all of a sudden kind of has this advantage over them.
Yeah, and right off the bat here, we see Fatalis going for that first chest there in Swamp, while Weedyward's skipping it. Kind of giving us an idea of what their mentalities are here. I imagine Fatalis will get those boots based on that. Whereas Weighty Words, we don't know. Weighty Words might just skip everything.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. He's fully preparing himself for that Master Sword Silverless Ganon, as well as the gambling that the big key is not on Torch.
Yeah, that's true. There's so many items that are worth it at this point. It is. I see why you would want to check a lot.
Alright, we see Fatalis going straight to the back, not checking the southern chest in Swamp Palace. And wow, Weighty Words right in the same room, so this is super close, guys.
Yeah, real close.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, P-Train not too far behind, just kind of finishing up Pod. We'll head straight to Swamp Palace right afterwards.
Looks like Fear is doing his southern check right now, and he's probably going to route that up to the Smith and get his Kano Samara for go mode. Oh, it looks like Fatalis is going to check those two chests at the bottom. And I think he's going
and Weighty Words
pick up
as well.
his boots. Perfect, okay.
So that is officially go mode for both Weighty Words and Fatalis.
So officially, 116, this is go mode.
Within 2 seconds of each other. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Master Sword Ganon is not a fun fight for anyone that has run this game. It is, you can't even hit Ganon with regular sword slashes. You have to use sword spins to get any sort of damage on him. So it is a very long, hard fight, especially in that phase 2 when he's got those surrounding fire bats, and you do have to hit him with those sword spins instead of just regular sword slashes.
Yeah, pretty much every phase of Ganon with just Master Sword is a slog, especially without silvers, and so you know, we'll still see a lot of chests within Ganon's tower. There's always a very good chance that a sword at least will be there. But we don't know, we might still see a Master Sword, or Master Sword Silverless. We're not going to see any of Turtle Rock, any of Ice, any of that, so all those items could be in there.
Yeah, it looks like Fatalis was using a really cool strat where he would pull 2 puffs and then do a sword spin to destroy 2 puffs at once. But Weighty Words using just the conventional 2 sword slashes per puff. It seemed to be faster because he has now done his Argus fight a little bit before. So this is a nice back and forth here. We're seeing Weighty Words now maybe just a couple seconds ahead now.
Yeah, those little things make a difference. Weighty Words having slightly more efficient strats on both phases of Argus and puts them in the lead, and then Fatalis making that one really quick extra check. This stuff, you know, it seems innocuous in the moment, and then you realize that, you know, everything matters.
But that is our 7th crystal, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't actually have an official chess game, but if you'd like to get your guesses in chat, the big key in Ganon's tower can be in 22 locations in the basement. So if you'd like to get your guesses in chat as to what you think it is, you can, for bragging rights, go right on ahead. T-Gray, what do you think the chest is going to be?
Chest number 6.
Chest number 6? I'm thinking, let's go with lucky number 13. Not so lucky number 13, but let's do 13. So I'm thinking 13 is what? The last chest in Rando Room? Should they decide to go right and then left thereafter. But, oh wow. Actually getting an Ice Palace check from Fear.
Yeah, Fear Agent, and every runner, or every daily race where we have 4 runners, there's always one that kind of falls victim to the seed, and Fear Agent, unfortunately, in that scenario where so much is opened up for them, but they don't realize, and they're just missing that one item that's in such an awkward location just based on how they routed.
And it also could be the case where he thinks he's maybe behind, and to catch up, decides to make a big gamble, and check locations that are just far out of the way that no one else would check, and it could pay off. And so that's also a play in his mind for sure. But unfortunately, we just know that it's not the right one. Unfortunately. Okay, so. All right, so the right side.
Number 2.
Wow, so whoever guessed number 2.
Just like that.
I'm trying to check in chat here, see if we had any number 2 guesses. I don't think we did, but.
So that just made Master Sword Silverless a whole lot more likely. Because they're not going to check anything in Ganon's tower except maybe the 4 chests on the climb.
And I'm thinking they will. Those free chests there that are available to them are just along the way, so it's not that out of the way to go ahead and check those chests.
Uh-oh, and Fantala's going straight left side. This is the Pink Kitty Rose strat, and it looks like... Okay, going to go... Oh no, they got the big key. Sorry, I missed it.
Got the big...
I thought he was going straight left.
But unfortunately, he did mirror out before grabbing that second key. It looks like the key did bounce a little bit. It didn't get in his possession, so he is climbing with 1 key as opposed to Weighty Words climbing with 2 keys. Now Fantala was gonna have to kill the mini Helmosaurs in the room upstairs on the 5th floor to get that key.
Yeah, little tiny things, but they do add up. But not a big deal, because they are going to spend some time in that room, I imagine, just to get those chests in the room anyway.
But yeah, fairly close right now, but it's obviously all down to Master Sword again, and we know that anything can happen in that fight. Even the best runners can be slowed down at Master Sword Ganon. So it's gonna be put on your seatbelt. It's gonna be a wild ride. Climb up Ganon's tower.
The 3rd phase of Ganon with Master Sword Silverless it's not terribly difficult, but it's just it's so long. It's almost like an endurance test, and so it really tests the runners when they have to do that.
For sure. The half magic will be nice. Them having the cape is also nice, especially for the first couple of phases. But yeah, 24 sword spins in phase 4 of Ganon is definitely it's an endurance test. It's a marathon, and the test of patience and really nice execution.
Yeah, and one slip up and you fall down that hole, and then you gotta do the whole darn thing again.
There's nothing more frustrating than falling at Master Sword Ganon when you're at phase 4. All right, and Weighty Words with a nice strat there in Wiz Robes. In the Wiz Robes 1 room. And we're going to see another Kane of Samaria strat here. Here in the Wiz Robes 2 room. Every time I see it, it's a very nice feeling to just watch that.
I know, I almost wonder if it's developer intended or not. It's just those 2 rooms in a row, both being Kane of Samaria-able. And who knows?
I'm sure there was one guy on the development team who's like, well, what if we did this, and so yeah, very much so that it was developer intended. All right, looks like we're upstairs, and he is going to check those chests, and just 20 rupees in that first one up there. Oh, yeah. And then unfortunately, it was just a 5-arrow upgrade, and it did look like arrows were coming out of it. So yes, just a little glimmer of hope there, because at least silvers would make the Ganon fight much easier.
Yeah, I mean, with so many chests out there still, I don't think they're going to see what they want here. It's just such a low chance. But there's still one more left, so maybe it'll have a Tempered Sword or silver arrows. We
could very well see that silver arrows in Mimic Cave too. Just Pod being the troll of this seed. Like all the sword upgrades and the silvers being in Turtle Rock. Oh, it looks like in fact we did find the silvers.
Silvers and Ice Palace. Well, Fear Agent, unfortunately not getting a good route, but will be able to have a nice Ganon fight when they get to that point.
All right, so foreseeably we're looking at a full Master Sword Silverless Ganon from our two runners here, our featured runners. So it's gonna be a good one, guys. So
it's
a
barn burner here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, almost got like a few pixels off from a triple there by Weighty Words.
Hmm.
Nice Aghanim setups.
Yeah, these are.
Why don't I ever
nice.
get these setups?
Yeah, it's like we always get the spread out triangle setup, and you're just like in the center of it, and you're just like, well, can't really do much with this. These are pretty nice. All right, Weighty Words falling into Ganon at 125.50, and we'll just make note of the time for Fantalis as well and see how much of a lead he has. Not too much, thinking about 17 seconds.
Yeah, this is hype. This is like who wants him more? Who can do this Ganon fight, better? And Weighty Words getting a nice setup here with Ganon in the top right corner.
Yeah,
gonna get in quite a bit of. Oh no, this is just the first phase still.
Mm-hmm.
Totally wrong.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, that's the optimal setup for Phase 2, because you can, in fact, get all 12 sword spins with him in the corner, with cape included there. Let's see, and he is opting to use the cape strats here.
No shame in that.
Yeah.
It's super annoying trying to him with those bats flying around with the sword spins. So if you've got magic, you might as well use it to your advantage. It's actually faster in a lot of cases.
Yeah, especially when he's one block away from the wall, you can get those double spins, and they do count as 2 sword spins. It's pretty nice. What you're seeing from Fantalis when he's on the top, that's probably the worst spot for him to be, because you can only get single sword spins on him, and you also risk getting hit by the fire bats super close by you. It looks like it looks like Fantalis is getting. Oh, he missed out on the.
Didn't take that opportunity there, and
corner RNG.
That little bit of knowledge put Weighty Words quite a bit ahead. Weighty Words using that cape really flew through that second phase, and so pretty good advantage here on this Ganon fight.
Okay, it looks like Weighty Words has now done his Phase 3, and he did not find the Arizona Ice Palace because he didn't go into it, and getting that torch glitch, which is good. Especially crucial for Silverless Ganon, especially for the Master Sword Silverless. Oops. But yes, and in the Japanese 1.0 version of the game, if you do light the left torch, before the right torch goes out, the right one just stays on for the remainder of the fight. So it is, in fact, very nice that you don't have to light 2 torches in order to get hits on Ganon, and it's just 1.
We were setting up some nice triples here. If you use the fire rod to light that torch at the correct time, you can get 3 hits before it goes out again. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's highly efficient.
Like I was going for the same thing.
Yeah, and then in the low percent version of this run, they are using that fire rod and Master Sword, and no half magic, and you can actually beat the Master Sword Ganon with 8 fire rod shots, which is all of your magic. Luckily for these runners, they have half magic, so they do get twice the amount of shots, about 16, and make it a lot easier for them to get 24 sword spins.
Yep, imagine Weighty Words and Fantalis both getting dizzy swinging that sword around in circles over and over. But they're getting closer, and Weighty Words taking a hit there, gonna lose a little bit of time. Give some Fantalis some time to catch up.
And he did get those potions for Misery Mire earlier, and those are actually paying off for him in a big way right now. Because that low heart count, it gets a little nerve-wracking, because I think those fire bats do 2 hearts of damage with the red mail. So it is scary. It's very easy to get hit by those.
This is so close. I think they're like literally on the same number of swings at this point, if I'm counting right.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention. I've only been watching Weighty right now, so I'm not really sure how many slashes. Oh, looks like Weighty Words did get the finish. Let's see if we can get that sub 130. I'm not sure if that he's going to make it. It's going to be close.
That was so close behind.
Wow. Just like 5 seconds. This is incredible. And just right above 130, and that's just an incredible time for this seed. And Fantalis finishing not too far behind him, just 6 seconds apart. That was incredible. Guys, you guys gotta hand it off. Put the GGs in chat for our 2 runners here, putting on a really good race. And not too far behind P-Train. Not too far. And I think Fear actually finally got his Samaria, so he's in his go mode. So I'm actually not on the... All right, let's see if we can get Weighty Words or Fantalis in the booth with us. Talk about this seed. Oh, but it actually, we have to, speaking of SRL, we have to make a shout out to, actually the first place runner was not on our restream. It was a runner named Banta, who finished with a 126, and it's an absolutely ridiculous time for a seed like this. And, but our restream runners getting 2nd and 3rd place respectively.
Yeah, and so close behind. That was really cool to watch, to see, because I think Fantalis actually made up time on the Ganon fight. He didn't potion as much, and he took less damage, and so it was really came down to the end there, see who would win. So that was cool to watch. And 2nd and 3rd place, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely getting a 130 on a seed like this with a trolley hammer and just not having boots for the majority of the seed is actually a very good time from them. It was just really good execution, comboed with some really good routing. It looks like...
And speaking of Tour 2 runners, we've got both of them here in the booth with us.
Looks like we got Weighty Words and Fantalis. Hey guys, GG's to both of you. That was a really close race.
Yeah, GG's Fantalis. Oh man.
Oh, GG.
Glad both of us were on stream, because that sounds like it was exciting.
Yeah.
It definitely was. I mean,
awesome.
I mean, how were you guys feeling in the Ganon fight with your Master Swords and?
Oh, were you Master Sword too?
I was Master Sword Silverless. Yeah.
Same here, man. I was like freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 or 4 triples, but I was like,
yeah, I was pretty much on the same boat. I got a few triples and then kind of sloppy doubles here and there. So I had to use 2 potions though, so that was not good. I only had 10 hearts, which was kind of scary.
Yeah, it definitely is. With your red mail, though, it definitely helped you guys out a lot. But yeah, those Weighty Words, those potions you bought I think for Misery Mire, they definitely helped you out there in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I did not know it was going to be... Because we got the Master Sword pretty early, so I just bought those potions just in case things went wrong in Misery Mire, but ended up needing them for GT and Ganon.
Yeah, definitely came in handy.
Yeah, that was the worst first chest. Big Ganon Tower, big key.
Just like,
no silvers, no masters, no tempered
sword. Yeah.
It's like, here you go.
Yeah, we were wondering if any of your runners were going to continue on side and maybe check a couple more chests for that sword upgrade.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it.
Did anybody notice that the flippers were actually hammerlocked in Thieves Town?
Okay, were they? So yeah, I guess because. Explain
the small key was in the small key was in the big chest.
Right.
So you could have stolen the key under the pot and gone down to the big chest and wasted it, so you couldn't go upstairs.
Oh,
so that means
that's how you.
Yeah.
It. Okay.
I totally forgot.
That's so Aghanim was required by logic.
Aga was required. Yep.
That's amazing.
I was counting. Honestly, I was like, and before I headed down to Palace of Darkness, I was like freaking out and kind of thinking and looking at the map, and I think I like flubbed up a couple of things because I was just like thinking like, if it's not in Palace of Darkness, what do I do next? Like, how long do I wait before just doing Aga and being like, all right, fine, it's in Pyramid Fairy, let's go.
Yeah. So the moment I got Mitts and Dark Death and Death Mountain and went to Dark Death Mountain and saw that Meyer and Para, I think was it, were the two crystals. I knew that it was a possibility. Right from the start, it was like looming in the back of my mind that the hammer could be in Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah.
That was we were actually keeping track here on me and T-Grade. We were just like, is Aga still on deck here? And we were all the way up until you guys found the hammer at Pod. We were just like, okay, well, yeah, it could be in Pyramid Fairy for all we know. But yeah, interesting to note that we didn't know the flippers were hammerlocks. So in fact, it was required. So it's interesting.
I was actually trying to find out, like I was thinking to myself, and the reason I was like poring over the map was like, I was trying to think to myself, if I wind up getting boots before I get the hammer, how, like I was trying to feel out in my mind, like, what is the method for doing the water walk with the bomb? Like, where do you go?
Yeah, I was I was actually like looking for the boots or even the bug net because I could catch a ferry and do ferry revival over to the east side. But nothing was there, so I'm like, oh crap! And I did Thieves Town super late because I was trying to look for the hammer before going in there. So I kind of did that as my last ditch effort, and thankfully I found the flippers.
Interesting. Yeah. We saw the late play on Thieves Town on your end, and we were wondering if maybe you're saving that for Go mode, in the very rare case that it is Go mode, and that hammer is a Go mode item in general, even.
Well, like, I guess it felt to me in the end, like after there was nothing else available with those flippers, that maybe the point of the seed was to sort of worm your way over to Palace of Darkness using the flippers. Like that was the only way you were able to get over there without doing Aghanim. Yeah, I didn't realize until afterwards in the interview that it was an actual Aga-locked seed. Didn't even come up in my mind.
Yeah, I was like hoping that I was just hoping that hammer would not be in Palace of Darkness because I knew that the flippers were so early, like people would have dipped into Thieves Town way earlier than I did and probably gone over there to get the hammer earlier. But I guess like getting the hammer early might have led people astray because that unlocks a lot of different places.
Yeah, it would have opened up just Swamp to be fully cleared, Ice Palace even. So yeah, I think the last place was to check was Pod. So luckily it worked out that it had the hammer. I guess Ice Palace would have been open for hammer as well, but yeah, luckily you guys didn't. None of you guys went there first beforehand.
Yeah, and just a quick interjection here. P-Train finishing off Ganon with a 9th place finish of 138.15. Good job, P-Train.
Yeah, GG. That's a fantastic time for this seed.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And P-Train's in the room with us.
Awesome, P-Train. GG. How do you feel about this seed?
I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself putting off Thieves Town as long as I did, especially like before Meyer, or doing it after Meyer. I kind of regret that. Yeah, I'm not too happy with my routing with the seed, but I'm really happy to get us up 145. I'm kind of surprised I did that, to be honest.
Okay, fantastic. GG's to you. But yeah, we were making we were having in our conversation just now we were actually making note of how this seed was actually AGA required, according to some of the logic in Thieves Town. The location of the flippers, especially, were upstairs, and there was a key in the big chest. Am I correct in saying so?
Yeah.
So that would have put AGA in logic to get the hammer, I think. For that, yep. So
I don't think so. I think the small key was in the big chest, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you could take that small key under the skull right before you go upstairs and use it on the door to go into the big chest, and you wouldn't be able to go upstairs at all. So they prevented that by making that upstairs chest hammer locked, because you could waste that pot key and go downstairs and use it really stupidly.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, logic always assumes that you'll use the keys in the dumbest way possible, and will logically protect you from soft locking yourself out of the game.
Yeah, the longer I went on, I was really, really scared that Thieves Town either had the hammer or boots. Just because I figured there were going to be a lot of people like that at least dove the first 4 chests, which I didn't do until I basically full cleared the Dark World.
I'm trying to remember what was in the first 4 chests anyway. I don't think it was anything. Yeah, it was nothing.
I think a shield. Maybe.
Yeah, map and compass were in the first 4.
Yeah, that was the terrifying part. Because I did that early on, and then map was in there, compass was in there. I felt kind of like the blue boomerang was the other one that was.
Yeah.
Did everybody else end up doing Master Sword, Silverless Cannon, or was I just the lucky one?
We
did it.
Yeah. Weighty and Fantalis also both did the Master Sword Ganon. But it's looking like the third restreamer here, Fear Agent, he did pick up the Silvers and Ice Palace. So his fight will just be a little bit easier in Phase 4.
That was, goodness, like, when Ganon was like, did you find the ice or did you find the silver arrows and ice palace? No.
It's like, no way you guys were going to go into Ice Palace after getting that hammer and reaching your go mode for sure.
Honestly, though, I was happy to see that, because like my biggest fear was that Ganon was going to say they were in Dark Palace, because I figured I was late to the party getting the hammer there, because hammer was my go mode item, so I did not full clear pod, and I was worried that everybody else who did thieves when they were supposed to do thieves, maybe had something else as a go mode item, so full cleared, found tempered and silvers in pod.
Yeah, interesting thing about it is the 3 of you all went to pod late. And it was actually, and Fear Agent, our other runner, was the first to pod, and that actually was a significant disadvantage for Fear Agent, just because they didn't get their Cane of Samaria, and so they went searching through swamp and ice, and ended up being unfortunate that they did go to pod so early, whereas you guys all with your hammers go mode all finished within the top 10, so kind of an interesting thing.
Where was Samaria? Wasn't that Blacksmith?
It was Blacksmith.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's another dumb that I did, because I did, like, that was an NMG dumb, was going to grab the, and it felt bad afterwards, because I went to grab the frog immediately, and then I was like, no, you're not supposed to do that, that's an NMG thing.
You have to do the digging game first. I think you had to do the digging game before picking up that purple chest to take down to the old man. So yeah.
But it felt even worse, like finding the red cane on Blacksmith, because that was now you found the value here. That's great.
It's like, should I continue on my southern quest or go to Meyer, which was in fact open to you?
No.
So.
Like,
the Meyer was a huge bait.
Yeah, I was really upset with my Village of Outcasts routing, because I think I cleared Outcasts, and then I found the mirror, so I did purple chest and all of that stuff. Then I found the powder, after doing all of these trips. So like by the 5th time I was walking into the Kakariko portal, I was like, I gotta be in last place at this point. Like this is horrible routing.
The mushroom felt bad as well because I was like, I need to be going to Palace of Darkness. It's probably in Palace of Darkness. But that entire route over the North Dark World where you're like, all right, well, I got to check Pomper Cave. And, well, there's, okay. Well, now that's like going to add another thing into my route. And it just wound up adding more time on the trip to Pod, which felt really, really bad. It felt even worse when I actually got there and found the hammer in there. I was like, why did you do all this?
Well, I mean, it kind of made sense. I mean, after you did Mire, it was like, okay, well, it was a decision between Tower of Hera, which was completely open and completable, or Pod that was, you know, potentially hammerlocked, you know, and not completable at the time. So, you know, tough decisions to be making there early, whether to gamble Pod or not.
I didn't have that decision to make because it took me forever to get the flippers.
Mm.
I mean, by the time I got flippers, I think all that was left was West Dark World.
I think same thing for Weighty and Phantalis. I think that was like one of their last things they could check besides Ice Palace.
Yeah, the only things I had left after Pod were like obviously a Fat Fairy, but I think Bombo's Tablet and Moldorm, or not Moldorm, Landmo.
There was a part of me that really wanted to gamble Hammer in the Pyramid Fairy just because I felt so behind.
I wanted to as well. I really wanted it to be true.
That is like the highest risk reward gamble you can make though. I just knew it would fail.
Yeah, especially since at that point, like we were talking about earlier, it would have been forced. Like there was no way to just glitch your way into that. It was guaranteed you'd have to go through Aga.
Out
Yeah,
of
because
curiosity,
the boots were locked behind it, yeah, so you couldn't even glitch your way into it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if anyone else found boots.
They were in Swamp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a smart play to, especially when you don't have a sword upgrade or silvers or boots even, to kind of just check the chests along the way and grab maybe something that would help you for the trek up or in any way.
Yeah, if I had tempered, I definitely would not have gotten those boots. I only checked those because I was looking for a tempered.
Interesting.
I don't know if anybody else checked the vanilla compass chest, but if there's a sword in there,
that would take too long, especially without the boots.
I checked it. It was the big key, which led to I think another shield or something. I don't know. I remember it being trash.
Yeah, I mean, Fear Agent checked pretty much all Swamp and Ice Palace and didn't find a sword. It is doing Master Sword here, so you have to figure those sword upgrades were either in Turtle Rock or Ganon's Tower, or maybe some random one-off chest somewhere along the way. But
I was so excited to do Ganon's Tower. I was like, surely I'm going to find a sword here. And then the freaking first chest had it.
Yeah, we were saying that. We kind of commentated, cursed you. We were like, oh, it's okay. There's probably one in Ganon's Tower. They'll find it on the way. And then it's like first chest. They're like, oh, never mind.
There's a tile chest or tile room chest where you actually want to dig your way through Ganon's Tower for a bit. And then it's just like, nope, go upstairs. Get out of here.
And Fear Agent has finished the race 16th place with a time of 1:48.04. Spam your GGs in chat for Fear Agent.
Yeah, that was a very brave fight as well. A little bit easier with the silvers, but he still got it done. It is hard. It's the same first 3 phases for as far as Master Sword goes. So yeah, definitely get those GGs in chat for Fear. But yeah, I think all in all, I think this race was super. This seed was like super quick in the beginning. Like for a while there, we're like, okay, we're 1 item away from this, like potential no mode. I mean, how did that feel for you guys?
I mean, like hammer go mode always feels good, but it doesn't feel good until you get the hammer, because hammer could be in so many different trolley spots.
I think like on the spectrum of things that could be good for a go mode item, where way over on one side there is the ice rod. I think hammer is probably close to being on the other side of that spectrum, just because so much is locked behind it. I mean, it kind of feels bad if you can get into swamp and ice, and hammer can potentially be there. But other than that, it's like, you know, you're pretty much guaranteed to be digging around for it along the way while you're doing other useful stuff. So,
yeah, especially that Turtle Rock. You know that it blocked out Turtle Rock. It's always trolly to have to get a go mode item in pendant Turtle Rock. So,
yeah,
once knowing that the hammer was in fact a go mode item, it was just like, okay, Turtle Rock is off the table. Don't have to go back up there. So great feelings, good feels for you guys there.
Yeah, honestly, you could say the same thing about the flippers too, because that was my next to last go mode item. So it's like on one hand you have flippers, you know, locking out swamp and ice, and then you have the hammer locking out Turtle Rock. Just kind of made some of the late game decisions really easy.
Yeah, that I guess I totally forgot about that. That is a valid point for sure.
it's pretty
Actually,
much guaranteed to be a really clean swamp palace, if nothing else, I guess.
definitely. And also we've got Fear Agent in the channel with us. Fear Agent, GG.
GG, I guess.
I mean, how did you feel about that run? I know that Canis and Mario really trolled you, so.
Yeah, it's the Smiths. The Smiths always do it to me.
Yeah, I know it must have not felt great knowing that Smith was wide open to you, and definitely you had to do an extraneous trip over to Ice Palace, but the benefit was that you did get those silvers, so it did make your Ganon fight a little bit easier.
Yeah, not worth it. I accidentally mismarked a red crystal, and I thought I had both red crystals. And so after I did swamp, I was gonna route in the red bomb to Pyramid Fairing. And if I hadn't mismarked that, I would have just completed the little Smith cycle right there. I would have saved myself a bunch of time. But I mean, there was that, and then I had some really bad deaths too. So it was all in all just a nightmare. But it's like the worst feeling you have when you're being restreamed, and then you're constantly dying and making bad choices and decisions. So,
I mean, those were really tough fights for you in the beginning, just with the amount of equipment that was available to us. So, I mean, it was definitely a lot of bravery there and a lot of skill. And
the Eastern Palace one, I mean, that's not the worst. I only had 5 hearts at the time, and it was in the dark. And
yeah,
but the Mothra fight, every time I hit him, he was like against Spike, so like every hit didn't do anything. My second fight against him went really well, but yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating, that fight, and I know Moth can be a troll like that.
We've all been there. It just gets you sometimes.
Honestly,
sure.
like after finding those Titan's mitts, the sensible part of my brain was like, you gotta go straight to the Dark World. Like that's where everything is.
Yeah.
But I still went South Shore Light World first because I was like, I don't want to do any of the stuff in the Dark World with 5 or 6 hearts or whatever I was at right now.
I think Flipper too, and that got me absolutely nothing.
Oh, same.
Yeah, actually, Fantalis, I think you were the one. You didn't do the South Shore after routing Kakariko. You went straight to Eastern Palace, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
straight to Eastern Palace, and then like the hookshot was immediately accessible out of there, and I always find hookshot in Sphere 1 to be a really strong indicator of get your butt up to Death Mountain.
Do that right side. I think the rest of you guys did the rest of you did the South Shore, and you guys all fake flippered the rest of you guys and got that ice rod, and we were all thinking, oh wow, okay, Total Rock, you know, like
It had to be a pendant. Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Fear, you were actually the first one of the runners to get the hammer, which was actually everyone else's go mode item, I think. at this point.
I would have been right in this if I had just finished the little smith route.
Definitely.
Because then after that, I went to ice. I did a bunch of checks, and then ice palace cost me a bunch of time. I full cleared ice palace because it was the green pendant. That I'm like 10 minutes behind P Train, and that's about ice palace. So
yeah, that's gambles you make, and that's rando for you, I guess. I guess that's about it. Any last words? Any final words for you guys?
Did anybody find tempered?
Nope.
No.
No.
Yep.
Probably in GT somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Oh, that first chest big key was pretty awesome. That doesn't happen a lot.
Especially when you didn't necessarily need it. Or at least for the other runners, Fear, they didn't have silver, so obviously they would have liked at least a sword upgrade.
It's such a weird feeling going like, oh, I want to open a bunch of chests in GT, and then you open the first one, and it's the big key. And you're like, oh, great! Now I don't get to open all those chests.
And that's exactly what happened. So I think everyone here opted to just go straight up after that, and were just mentally preparing themselves for the carnage of Master Sword Ganon. So.
Mirror was also in a very interesting spot. I don't know about y'all, but I cleared Skull Woods from the back to the front, and I forgot I had red mail. So I was like, well, I guess I got to set up this death warp. I was like, no, I'll probably just walk back out. Then I opened it up, and it was the mirror. I was like, oh, cool. That's super convenient.
Yeah, we were making jokes about that too. We were like, wow, I wish Mirror was there every time. That's a great place for it to show up.
We were thinking of just, locations where that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Did anybody get bombs in Escape? I didn't see any.
Yes, I did.
I got one from the, I think the short sword green guard, but I don't remember which one.
I got one from the green guard that chases you right outside the castle.
Yeah. The bow and arrow is really nice for that because, I don't know, you wind up being able to take out green guards sort of in the same movements as you'd normally be making. Of all of the weapons you can start with, it's really nice.
Fear, did you end up making your way back there?
Yeah, I checked it as soon as I got gloves.
Okay. It had the bottle, which got you nothing anyway from the sick kid. So
5 rupees? That's not nothing. That's his whole savings.
Yeah, that's true. We were actually making a comment about that. We're stealing the sick kid's medicine money, and he's just gonna be even more sick from that point on. Poor kid. But anyway, I think we're just gonna wrap it up here. This was a really awesome seed to watch. Definitely close between the two of you guys, and GG's to all of you guys. For this seed.
I just gotta say, watching Ventalis and Waywards was really fun. That last phase again, just because it's so long, the suspense is really building up. And Weighty Words put it a little bit less cleanly, but had a better, time advantage overall, and so it really came down to the wire. And it was really fun to watch that.
A lot of lead changes. I think actually, Fantalis, you were the first out of pod, and then just a couple seconds behind at Swamp. So it was interesting. So anyway,
I'll have to watch it back.
Yeah, definitely. Well, excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm not watching this back for sure.
Fair enough.
All right, and I think if that's it, I think we're gonna, end it off right here. GG's to everybody, and have a good night.
GG's.
GG's, guys.
GG.
Yeah, GG.
GG.
GG all.